name's Amy. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I've been really excited to offer this workshop, and I'm thankful that despite our gallery space being closed, that I am still able to be here with you thanks to technology. I really believe that connecting in with our breath, bodies, and creativity is one of the best ways that we can process the fear and uncertainty and confusion and grief that we may be feeling during this global pandemic. So this workshop will run about an hour and a half, and I would recommend doing all these portions consecutively to let them build off of one another. But the beauty of this being a digital event is that you can pause and come back to it and do it whenever you feel like it. The important thing is really about you connecting in with your own intuition and listening to what feels good for you and your body and your mind right now. Especially when we move to the yoga portion, I want you to find that personal balance for you between effort and surrender. So we'll begin with a guided meditation, and then we will move into the yoga portion of this and close with unintentional painting. So let's get started. This meditation is designed to help you connect to the fresh, blooming springtime energy and access your intuition for guidance on releasing old, unhelpful ways of being and setting an intention to gracefully navigate the new season. We'll use our breath and the natural imagery of a blooming flower to encourage elegant living that is in harmony with the cycles of nature. So light a candle, place a pencil and small piece of paper nearby, and arrange a comfortable space to renew yourself. When you're ready, begin by sitting or laying down comfortably on the floor or in a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Close your eyes and we'll begin deepening our breath. Inhale deeply through your nose and exhale through your nose. Inhale through your nose and feel the air fill your lungs. And exhale. Inhale through your nose into your lungs and your abdomen. And exhale through your nose. Now inhale through your nose all the way into your lungs, abdomen, and pelvic bowl, and exhale through your nose. Continue breathing in and out through your nose into your spacious center. Each breath creating more space. Every inhale brings more clarity, and every exhale brings more relaxation. Bring awareness to your heart as you breathe, thanking it for the work it does to flood your body with fresh oxygen. Bring awareness to the point in the middle of your forehead between your eyebrows, and imagine a blooming dark blue flower there, like a peony or a rose, with so many petals radiating outward from the center. As you breathe, imagine the flower growing larger and larger blooming bigger and brighter with each breath. Its petal turns lighter as it begins to envelop your entire head and your chest. The color changes as it grows and expands. It is now blooming large enough to fill your entire body and is a soft shade of pink. You can see the iridescent golden veins in the velvety pink petals. It continues to grow as you breathe, and soon it blooms large enough to fill the entire room that you're in. Soft, warm, fragrant air surrounds you. Expanding until the soft pink petals rise high around you, enclosing you in a safe, beautiful palace of fragrance that permeates all your cells with healing energy. In the center of this flower, you know that what you will find comes from a place of goodness and love. You make your way into the golden yellow center of the flower, and you see a shimmering scroll on a small surface. This scroll will tell you what you need to release in order to move forward in a more graceful way. So pick it up, gently unroll it, and see the single word written on it. This word is a symbol for all you are ready to let go of. You thank this aspect and all the beliefs and behaviors that it represents, with the understanding that they are no longer needed, and you are ready to release them at the close of this visualization. You place this scroll in your pocket, and you see that removing it has made room on the table for another shimmering scroll to appear. You pick up this second scroll, carefully unroll it, and see a single word written on it. This word encapsulates your soul's intention. See the word and remember it. This intention will serve as a point of focus and guiding frequency for this new season. You feel hopeful knowing that this word, this intention, is a reflection of your highest self and purpose. You feel gratitude and trust for your inner guidance as you place the scroll in your other pocket. You sit in the center of this flower with renewed clarity, knowing that you can trust these messages from your intuition. You see the giant, beautiful bloom around you as you come back into your body, noticing your breathing, remembering the room you're sitting in. Slowly open your eyes and enjoy the clarity and renewal that you feel. Take a small piece of paper and write down the first word, the release word from that first scroll. Carefully place this piece of paper in the candle flame and set it onto a safe fireproof surface, and watch it burn away. See it burn away all the old, unhelpful ways of being associated with that word. And notice how you feel. You might feel lighter, more spacious. You might feel very excited. You might feel grief at the change. Just notice and allow space for whatever reaction you feel as you watch the flame. When you feel ready, move onto your yoga mat if you're not already there, and we will move into the yoga portion of this workshop. I hope you enjoyed that and have your intention firmly in your mind. Before we begin the Hatha yoga portion of this, I want to take a quick minute to discuss the number 4, because this workshop was planned to occur on April 4th, 2020, which has all sorts of 4s in it. So that number was very much at the front of my mind when I developed this sequence of poses. So we'll be doing a lot of holding poses for 4 counts, doing sets of 4. And 4 is this wonderful number of stability and structure. It is a number of equality, and it represents the neutral mind. And it's associated with the air element, which is the intellect. And along with this stability and structure, it also is associated with unconditional love and forgiveness. And in many philosophies, 4 serves as this really important basis for ideas. Like there are 4 directions, there are 4 elements. In Hindu traditions, where yoga comes from, the 4th chakra is the heart chakra, which bridges the gap between the material realms and the spiritual realms. And what bridges that gap is unconditional love and compassion. So this is love with a capital L. And 4 is also associated with the Emperor card. The 4th card in tarot is the Emperor, which is a very masculine, direct, structured energy. And this is a really nice energy to harness as we move into this expressive, expansive springtime, where we've released the inner work of winter and now we're sowing our seeds, so to speak. So it helps to have structure in the form of intention as we kind of grow into this season. So that was my intention in developing this sequence, for both stability, but then also to create room for love to land in our bodies and our minds. So we're going to begin now by taking a comfortable cross-legged seat at the front of your mat, and bring your hands to your heart and remember the intention that you found in the middle of your flower. Throughout this entire practice, I want you to focus on breathing energy into that intention with every breath and every movement. Begin by taking a comfortable seat cross-legged at the top of your mat. Remember the intention that you set. Inhale, lift your arms over your head. Exhale, drop your hands and twist toward the right, looking over your right shoulder. Inhale, bring your hands back to the center. And exhale, twist to the left, looking over your left shoulder. Inhale, bring your hands back to the center. Exhale, twist toward the right. Inhale, lift your arms back to the center, and exhale, twist twist toward the left. Inhale, raise your arms, and exhale, twist toward the right. Inhale, raise your arms to the center, and exhale, open to the other side. Inhale, raise your arms to the center. Exhale, twist open toward the right. Inhale, raise your arms to the center. Exhale, twist to the left, looking over your left shoulder. Inhale, raise your arms to the center. Exhale, fold forward, reaching your hands to the floor. Walk your hands over to the right and let your head drop to your right knee. Breathing deeply into your hips. Walk your hands over to the left side now, dropping your head to your left knee. Taking deep breaths. Walk your hands back to the center. Inhale, raise your arms back up over your head, and exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Come forward on your hands and knees in a tabletop position. We're going to do cat-cow. So on your next exhale, arch your back and squeeze your belly in. And inhale, drop your belly, lift your hips and thighs. Exhale, squeeze in. Inhale, drop your belly and lift your hips and thighs. Inhale, squeeze and arch. Exhale, release your belly. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale, release. Now come into a neutral position and stretch your right leg out behind you and your left arm in front of you. Take deep breaths. Hold this for about 4 breaths. Try to keep your hips aligned. Use your core to stay stable. On your next exhale, bring your elbow to your knee and then stretch back out on the inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretch out. One more. Exhale, elbow to knee. And drop your hand and knee to the mat. Now stretch your left leg behind you and your right arm in front of you. Hold for about 4 breaths using your core. Squaring your hips. Now on your next exhale, bring your elbow toward your knee and inhale, stretch back out. Just like cat-cow, exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Now drop your hand and your knee to the mat. And bring your hands forward about a handprint and stretch back into your first downward dog. Your hands should be shoulder width, your feet should be hip width. You can bend one knee and then the other, just warming up the back of your legs. Pushing weight into the forefinger and thumb sides of your hands. Try to place the tips of your fingers into the mat. Now lift your right leg, bend your knee, and start rotating it in one direction 4 times. Now rotate it the other direction. Continue your deep breaths, warming up the hip joint. Now look between your hands and step your right foot between your hands and come up into a high lunge. Reach your hands overhead and breathe deeply. Feel the stability of your legs. Now drop your hands and twist toward the right, hooking your left elbow over your right knee, bringing your hands together. Feel the nice twist in your back. your left leg, bend your knee and rotate it in one direction. Now move it in the other direction. And stretch your leg out and step your left foot between your hands. Lift your arms up into a wide lunge, or a high lunge, sorry. Continue your deep breaths, and now drop your hands and twist toward the left. Hooking your right elbow over your left knee, bring your hands into prayer pose. And breathe into your twisted spine. Return to the center, drop your hands to the mat. Plank pose, chaturanga. Lift into upward dog. Exhale into downward dog. You can always go straight back into downward dog or use your knees instead of going into the full plank and chaturanga. Breathe here in your down dog. Press into your fingertips. Look between your hands and step up to the top of your mat. Inhale, make a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up, raise your arms above your head. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, raise your hands overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway with a flat back. Exhale, put your hands on the mat and step back into plank. Lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, step it up between your hands and come into warrior one. Drop your back ankle and lift your hands straight above you. You can space out your feet so that you have a little more stability in your base. Breathe deeply here. Pressing into your back leg. Now drop your hands toward the right and again look over your right shoulder. Dancing warrior. Inhale, raise your hands to the center. Exhale, drop your hands to the left, looking over your left shoulder. Inhale, raise your arms, and exhale, bend your elbows into cactus pose, leaving your heart wide open. Breathe that fresh air. Make space in your chest, squeezing your shoulder blades together behind you. Continue inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Drop your hands to the mat. Step back, plank pose, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now lift your left leg and step it up between your hands, dropping your back ankle into warrior one. Raise your hands straight above you, pressing into your back heel so you feel a firm, steady base. Once you have this stability, it's time to twist the spine again with Dancing Warrior. Almost. Drop your hands to your left and look over your left shoulder. Now reach your hands up and drop your hands to the right, looking over your right shoulder. Now reach your arms hips back up to the center. And bend your elbows, opening your heart, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Feeling the space in your chest. Inhale deeply. Now exhale, drop your hands to the mat, lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Rest in downward dog for a moment, inhaling, exhaling. Look between your hands and step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, come up with a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Release your neck as you're folding forward. Shake your head yes and no. Feel it lengthen. Feel it gain space and flexibility as you breathe. Now inhale, raise your arms all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, raise your arms above you. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway with a flat back. Exhale, bring your hands to the mat, come into plank, then chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stretch your hips back and up. Now stretch your right leg back and bring it forward between your hands. Coming up into warrior two. Drop your back heel so it's perpendicular to the mat and to your front foot. Have your arms steady and strong at your sides. Inhale and exhale. Feel the steadiness. Feel the strength. Now drop your left arm back and reach your right arm to reverse warrior. Feel the long stretch in the right side of your torso. Now come back up and clasp your hands together behind you, stretching your arms straight, and fold forward, humble warrior. Drop your head next to your knee and stretch your hands up toward the ceiling, continuing to breathe deeply in and out of your nose. Now drop your hands on either side of your foot, coming into a low lunge, and stretch your right arm up toward the ceiling, twisting open toward the right. Feeling the nice twist in your spine. It's so good for your spine and for your digestion to twist. It also creates more space. Now drop your hand back on the inside of your leg, coming into lizard pose. You can even let your knee and your foot fold open as far as they want to go. You can bring your back knee down toward the mat if that's easier. Now step your foot back to plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stretch your left leg forward and bring your left foot up between your hands, dropping your back foot to come into warrior two. Feel the strength and stability in your legs, in your arms, Drop your right hand behind you and stretch your left arm up toward the ceiling, reverse warrior. Breathe into the left side of your torso. Clasp your hands behind your back, stretch your arms straight, and bend forward, dropping your head next to your knee in humble warrior, stretching your clasped hands up toward the ceiling. Feel a nice stretch in your shoulders. Release your hands to the mat and twist your back heel forward to a low lunge. Open your body toward the left with your left hand stretched toward the ceiling. Feel that nice twist in your back. Drop your left hand to the inside of your left foot. Scoot your foot over and let your hip open to lizard pose. You can bring your back knee down if it's more comfortable for you, but breathe into your hip. Now step your foot back into plank, lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Press your hips up toward the ceiling. Press your fingertips into your mat. Look forward and step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, come up with a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up with your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Now we're going to go into cloud salutation. After we drop our hands to our sides and feel the difference in your body. Close your eyes. Now open your eyes and bring your hands overhead. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart and lift your right knee. Drop it to the mat. Inhale, raise your hands. Exhale, drop your hands to your heart and lift your left knee. Drop your foot to the mat. Inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, hands to heart, lift your right knee. Inhale, raise your hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart, lift your left knee. This time step back behind you with your left leg so you can prepare for triangle pose. So with your right foot pointing forward, stretch back, stretch forward, and drop your hand to your leg, the mat, wherever it fits. And raise your left hand up toward the ceiling, looking up at your hand, opening your chest. Now circle your arm. Circling it round and round. On your inhale, raise it up. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale, raise it up. Exhale, circle around. Now drop your hand to your hip and place your right hand on the floor in front of you, lifting your left leg to half moon pose. Stretch your left hand toward the ceiling. Now square your hips and bring your hands to your heart in front of you. Modified Warrior 3. Maintain a point to look at to keep your balance steady. Now slowly come up and drop your foot to the mat. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, hands to heart and lift your right knee. And then bring your right leg to the back of your mat. And stretch forward into triangle pose. Opening up your chest, Stretching your right hand toward the ceiling. Now bring your arm over your head and circle it around. Every inhale, bring it up toward the ceiling. Exhale, circle it down and around. Inhale, circle around. Now drop your hand to your hip and you bring your left hand to the floor in front of you. Raise your right leg into half moon pose, with your right arm stretching toward the ceiling. You can look down at the floor or up at your hand. Now bring your hands to your heart, square your hips forward. Come into Modified Warrior 3. Find a single point to focus on. Now slowly come up, dropping your foot onto the mat. Raise your arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway with a flat back. Exhale, step back into plank pose. Lower to chaturanga, and then come all the way to the mat. Now lift your hands and your feet off the mat. Come into a slight bow pose. Exhale, release your head to the floor. Relax for a moment. Now clasp your hands behind you and lift back up. Feel the strength in your back, in your core. Now release. You can rest your cheek on your hands or your mat. I have my short mat today, so I am resting on the floor. Now reach backwards for your feet and press your feet into your hands to pull yourself up into Dhanurasana. Now release and lift back into child's pose. Take a minute to relax. Remember your intention. Now return to plank pose. Taking deep breaths here. Twist open toward your left, raising your left hand toward the sky. If you'd like to bring your knee down, you can do that. To make the pose less challenging. Now come back and now twist open to the other side, raising your right hand toward the ceiling. Return that hand to the mat and stretch back into downward dog. Breathe deeply. Look forward between your hands and step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, come up with a flat back. Exhale, come fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up with your hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, raise your arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart, lift your left knee. Inhale, raise your hands. Exhale, hands to heart, lift your left knee. Inhale, hands over overhead. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart and lift your right knee. Inhale, raise your hands up. Exhale, drop your hands to your heart and lift your left knee and step it behind you so you're facing the long side of your mat. Clasp your hands together behind you, look up, and then fold forward. Letting the weight of your arms and hands stretch your shoulders. Continue to breathe deeply here. Now drop your hands to the mat and walk over to your left foot. Again, stretching your left hand to the ceiling for another spinal twist. Now drop your hand back and walk over to your right foot, grabbing hold of it with your left hand and stretching your right hand toward the ceiling. Breathing deeply into the spinal twist. Return your hands to the mat. Inhale to look forward. Bring your hands to your hips and slowly come all the way up to standing. You can step or hop your feet together. Oh, not yet, sorry. Bring your hands to your heart and drop into a low squat. You can press your knees out with your elbows. Inhale, come up to standing and turn toward the front of your mat. Inhale, bend your knees into chair pose. Stretching your arms forward, feeling the strength in your legs. Trying to keep your knees right over your toes. Bring your hands to your heart and hook your left elbow over your right knee and twist toward the right. Continue your deep breaths. Return to the center. Now hook your right elbow over your left knee, twist toward the left. Making space from your stable platform. Inhale, stretch your arms forward and slowly come down to a seated position on your mat. Open your knees into Baddha Konasana. You can open your feet like a book and begin to gently massage the soles of your feet. We have so many tiny little muscles and bones that do so much for us while we walk around day to day. So it's important to remember your feet and give them a little love every once in a while. Massage your toes, going up and down each toe. Thanking them for all the good work they do for you. Hold on to your feet with both hands, breathing deeply.
your right foot forward and bend your left knee. Fold over your right leg, grabbing a hold of your foot or your pants, wherever is comfortable for you. It's more important for your back to stay straight than for your head to be touching your leg or anything like that. Now return to seated and stretch your other leg forward, placing your hands on your sides. Staff pose. Now bend your right leg and fold over your left leg, grabbing hold of your left foot, your pants. Try to put your chest toward your leg versus your head. Continue to breathe deeply. Now stretch both feet out and both hands overhead. Now bring both hands to your feet and stretch forward as far as you would like to go. It's not important how far down you go, just that you feel a stretch and you can continue breathing deeply. Now come up and slowly lower yourself down onto your back. As slow as you can. Now bring your feet flat onto the mat with your knees bent. Going to lift into bridge pose. So you can clasp your hands beneath you or grab the sides of your mat as you lift your hips into the air. Feeling the openness in the whole front of your torso. Slowly lower. Bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees drop out to the side. You can bring one hand on your heart and one hand on your stomach. Take deep breaths. Now bring your feet back flat on the mat and lift again into bridge pose. Clasp your hands below you or grab the side of your mat. Keep your knees stable and straight ahead as you lift your hips toward the ceiling. Slowly lower down. Bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees fall open. Hand on your belly and the other hand on your heart. Feel the nice, fresh air move in and out of your body. Now, cross your right ankle over your left knee and reach through to grab a hold of your left foot. For a nice hip stretch. Breathe into your hips. You can bring your leg as close to your chest as you can, depending on how flexible your hips are. Be sure to protect your knee, and if your knee is hurting in any way, don't continue the pose. I like to keep my knees safe by flexing my ankles. Breathe here, deep into your hips. Remember the intention that you set. Unwind and bring your left knee into your chest. Stretch your right leg forward. Now switch and bring your right knee into your chest and stretch your left leg forward. Now cross your left ankle over your right knee and reach through and grab your right shin and draw it towards your chest. Breathe deeply into your hip. Every exhale, try to release a little bit more. Be sure your face and your jaw is relaxed. Continue breathing deeply. Inhales and exhales through your nose. Now release this pose and hold on to both knees, bringing them into your chest. Bring your face up towards your knees, squeeze into a little ball for a moment. Now let your knees drop to your right side, stretch your arms wide, and look over your left shoulder for one final spinal twist. Bring your knees back to the center. Now let them drop to the left side. And stretch your right arm out, look over your right shoulder. Your final twist. Enjoy all the space and flexibility we've created in our spines, and all the stability that we've accessed from our legs, our core. Release this pose and bring your knees to your chest one more time for stretching your knees out. Letting your feet fall open, your hands resting upward beside you. Release all control over your breath as we come into our final resting pose. Feel your ankles, your feet, your legs relax, grow heavy as they sink into the floor. Feel your thighs release, your hips grow heavy. Feel all your internal organs and your spine relax into the floor. Your fingers, your hands, your wrists, your arms, shoulders, let it all relax. Feel your neck relax, your face, head. Relax and rest. To wiggle your fingers and toes, circle your ankles and your wrists, stretch your hands high above your head for a long stretch. With your eyes closed, bend your knees and slowly turn toward your right, thanking yourself for taking the time to connect with your body and your breath. Remember your intention. Focus on it now. Now slowly come up to a seated position. Bring your hands to your heart. Focusing on your intention. We will close the practice. Namaste.
So now we're going to do the vision painting part of this workshop. So you're going to want to grab a canvas or a blank piece of paper, whatever you have on hand, and some paints. I have some just normal acrylic paint tubes, a pencil, and some brushes. And you're going to start by taking your blank canvas. I'm going to be using this little 11 by 14 canvas, but like I said, use what you have on hand. And I'm going to write that word that I found on my second scroll. So this is my intention word that is going to inform my entire spring season and perhaps beyond. So I am going to, in pencil, write that word down. And the word that I saw, I'll just go ahead and share it with you. It's joy. And so to me, especially in a time like this, we're in the midst of this pandemic, it is becoming increasingly more difficult to find, those points of joy for me at least, in my day-to-day happenings. There's a lot of uncertainty about what's going to go on economically and financially after this is over. When is it going to be over? We don't know. So I'm excited to put a lot of energy into this joy canvas so I can find what is wonderful and what is beautiful about each day throughout this season. And also, to me, I'm just talking out loud about this to give you an idea of the things that you can consider as you are painting and as you are writing. I'm also thinking about joy in the sense that doing things that bring me joy and focusing on that which I value most, which is most joyful, and how can I arrange my life going forward to do more of that. So anyways, take your own word and write it down, and you can also write down any other words that come to mind that you want to associate with it, but have your intention word big in the center. And now I'm going to draw out a shape of a flower on mine, but you can choose whatever symbol you want. In the materials with this course, I included a reference image if you would like to have something to look at, but really it's nice to just intuitively do this. Go with how you feel. It doesn't have to look like anything. You can make this painting very abstract. The important thing about it is simply the intention and the energy you breathe to it, or bring to it. Also breathe to it. Hopefully you are remembering to breathe while you paint. I have a big problem with forgetting to breathe when I'm doing art, so remember to do that. I'll let you write down your things now, and then I will just go ahead and put up my painting as I do it. We can keep painting.